Hello there. How are you doing? We are starting the gathering quests for Shadowbringers. Let's get straight to it. Oh, hey cat. Oh, hello there. You're the sweet young lady staying with Master Matoria, are you not? I've been meaning to thank you for looking after my boy that one time. His name's Valen. You remember him, don't you? He's always running around with his friend Quinfort, you know, the one who so much enjoys hearing the sound of his own voice. Why, just moments ago he rushed in here, then went dashing off shouting how he made a discovery of staggering import over in Fanworld. Valen, bless his heart, went running after him. I know these parts aren't as dangerous as they once were, and Quinfort apparently has made some friends among the bees, but still, I can't help but worry. Would you be so kind as to follow after them to make sure Valen doesn't get into anything over his head? You can tell him his mother sent you. Alright. For the last time, Quinfort, would it kill you to actually explain yourself before you go dashing around the forest like a madman? What nonsense do you speak, Valan? The Keeper of Whispers would never be so insolent as to keep the gods waiting when they would share with me their wisdom. Why, the mere notion is preposterous, blasphemous even. Yo, whatever are you doing here? My mother sent you. Dear heavens, I'm sorry for dragging you into this. As you might suspect, Quinfort's ranting and raving about the will of the wood again. When he ran off shouting out prophecies, I simply had to follow along to make sure he didn't get himself into any trouble. The V said we were welcome at any time, of course, but would it kill a man to be a bit more circumspect? Oh, that reminds me. Whatever happened to that squirmy little fellow, that Quinfort? For whatever ungodly reasons, believes to be the great serpent of Ronka. Does it still travel with you, or did it get squished somewhere along the way? What ignorance is this, Valen? The divine protector has returned to slumber in its nest near the deep heart of Raktika, from which it speaks to me in my dreams even now. Oh yeah, this little thing. It's coming back to me now. Oh, great one. Is it truly you? Return to grace your loyal servant with your presence in this time of need. Truly, the word has answered my pleas. If the great serpent has been with you all this time, Yo, I can only imagine what sort of dreams he has been having. And yet, as skeptical as I am, the bees seem to put stock in his visions. If there's even a hint of truth to them, who knows what we're in for. Haha. I know my good friend, for I have seen it 1,000,000 times in my visions. The veritable forest is on the verge of entering a new age of harmony, where the great serpent shall let out a mighty cry, and in so doing summon forth they who did serve great Ronkra in times of eld. Verily, the arrival of the heirs to wisdom, ancient and true, is nigh at hand. Now is the time. We must follow where the great serpent leads, and in doing so, lay claim to the great future. Quinfort, not again. I'm sorry to impose, Yo, but would you mind helping me go after him? There's only one path forward through the forest, so he shouldn't be too hard to find. He must be around here somewhere. Look, over in that flower bed. Someone's in there. A rat who speaks. Who are you, and why do you trespass in our sacred forest? Answer me, or we will be dining on rat stew this night. Ye gods, oh, do have mercy. I assure you, yes, most assuredly, that we come in peace. Put down your arms, if my visions speak true, and I have never known them to speak otherwise. This mousely fellow and his diminutive companion are none other than the descendants of a proud Ronka tribe of old. You are from Slitherborough, yes? One of the so-called Night Bless. There you are. I swear, Quinfort, do you take pleasure in driving me mad? Forgive my friend here. He simply cannot control himself sometimes. I promise you, I'll give him a stern talking to when we get home. Now, Quinfort. Huh. Friends of the Alley of Ronka, are you? You are quite bold, or quite foolish, to rush forward before the serpent spear point of a bees as you did. And who or what is this one? I have not seen him nor any of his ilk before, and yet you say he is a descendant from the proud tribe of Ronka. Most assuredly so, for I did foresee his coming in a vision granted to me by none other than the great serpent itself. Whoa. Look, Father, there's two of them. A crew what? I fear you must be mistaken. But this is understandable. After all, my people have lived in hiding for generations. Few, if any, of those on the outside are familiar with our kind. Alas, how far our noble tribe has fallen. A most auspicious encounter this is, for a friend of the Great Serpent is a friend of ours, yes? Pray, my good sir, do enlighten us with the name of your most ancient and venerable tribe. We are the Qitari. You call us an ancient and veritable tribe, and I cannot deny that we are very much that. The Qitari, that is the name I have heard from my elders, and yet I was told that the last qitari vanished 100 years ago. Those of us born after the flood never paid the stories much heed, but you say that we truly stand before a qitari in the flesh? However it may be, it is clear that the ally of Ronka and her friends mean us no harm. Let us put down our arms. Father and I have come in search of a great artifact of our past. Great stones buried deep in a cave by his father's father. How many fathers were there again, Father? Qitari, have you forgotten your manners? It would be untoward not to introduce ourselves to our honored new friends. I am Qitari Natal of the Qitari, and this is my foolish child, Qitari Kahotl. Do forgive us for our impropriety. Yes, do forgive us for our impropriety. For nigh on a century our tribe has made its home in the shadows of the light, deep in the forests of the far side of Quitana Ravel, by the rushing waters of the Raktaka Falls. We did not always hide in the darkness. This place we now stand was once our home. Then came that fateful day when the skies were flooded with light. Facing certain doom, our forebears fled the forest, but not before a band of the bravest gave their lives to store away our greatest treasures for safekeeping, with hope that one day their children's children might unearth them anew. These are the artifacts of which my son spoke, the Qitari Stelae, mighty stone monoliths engraved with the accumulated knowledge of our people in its entirety. Of course, it is precisely as I saw it in the visions the great serpent bestowed upon me, a proud and ancient tribe of scribes and scholars, the stewards of knowledge of ancient Ronka. Aho, you are most insightful, my friend. Indeed, we were once known as the stewards of note, a title that fittingly describes both our duties as keepers of written knowledge and surpassing aptitude with which we pursue the task. Our ancestors served proudly as scribes and scriveneers for many a generation of Ronka emperors. It is a role that came quite naturally to our people, for you see, we are not blessed with longer lifespans of your kind. Thus, from our earliest days, we have been most meticulous about recording the happenings and learnings of our lives in precise and painstaking detail. The qitari stelae, or more specifically, the carvings and etchings that grace their surface, represent the summation of all the knowledge and wisdom we have acquired over the years. They represent, one might say, the collective memory of our people, passed down through the ages from generation to generation. Long have we dreamed of reuniting here to search for the stones and reclaiming our legacy, and yet nasty sin-eaters who stood in our path, making the journey far too perilous to even attempt. Then one day, the skies turned dark. I trembled in terror, but the next thing I knew, the great serpent was hopping and squirming beside me. He told me that a path through the rabble had been cleared and we were free to go home at last. Precisely. And so it was that my boy and I received the blessings of our fellow qitari, and became the first of our kind in generations to return to this part of the Great Wood. Unfortunately, we were immediately set upon by all sorts of nasty creatures, forcing us to retreat and ponder our course of action, where we came upon you and threatened you at spear point. Pray forgive us, allies of Ranka. We knew not who you were, nor all you had suffered to arrive here. You intend to remain here in the Great Wood in search of these stelae of yours, was it? Worry not, we shall tell all in Fano of you, that you are friends and not to be harmed. And with that, we must be on our way. Go in peace. Dear me, but that was a close one, wasn't it? It was all but certain Shakori and I were going to end up skewered. Were it up to me, I would have left the boy behind for his safety. But he is ever a curious one, and would hear nothing of it. I'm not a child anymore, Father. I'm all of 3 summers. 3? Why, when I was 3, I could barely walk straight. Oh, I do not doubt that is so, good sir. But for our people, the eldest of whom would be lucky to see 20 summers. Collateral here is almost a qitari grown. But enough about us. But I might change the subject. You know your way around the Great Wood, yes? I have reason to believe that our forefathers buried this steel in a cavern that extends deep in the mountains near the Oxdalen Gap. Perhaps you might be willing to. Come, Father, we must follow him. But of course, it all makes sense now. It is the great serpent who guided you here to us, and now, together, we must heed its clarion call. Say no more, great stewards of Ranka. It would be our honor to assist you in your noble cause. That is most kind of you, good sir. In that case, pray allow me to oblige. Let us follow where the Great One leads. wonderful. His fiction actually proved true. No, you'll never hear the end of it. The mere sight of the divine protector humbling itself so as to crawl on the ground, that is the loyal servants made rediscover and reclaim their proud past. Why it nigh brings a tear to my eye. Oh. Father, could this be the place? Let us see now. The mark on the cave's entrance appears to be an ancient Ronkan ward. This is probably promising and yet problematic. Do allow me to explain. We qitari worship Oxtelon, god of the dead and the world below. Our forebears no doubt believed that if they sealed away the stela deep within the bowels of the land, Dalan himself would watch over them and keep them safe until the day their descendants returned. Most fascinating. Your knowledge of Ronkan tradition is impressive indeed. However, do you manage to know so much despite your chronicles of history being lost to you for so long? Many ruins can be found near Raktrika Falls. With the wood we have called home since the flood, we have made an effort to explore and excavate them as best we could, that our Ronkan roots would not be entirely forgotten. A most admirable goal, and one near and dear to my own heart as well. For you see, I am one of the Knights Blessed who traveled to these parts after the flood. I, too, have a deep personal interest in the beliefs and traditions of the ancient civilizations that once flourished here. In fact, I have done extensive research looking into my own ancestors, and was pleased to discover that I can trace my lineage back to none other than the great sage Dwadi himself. And Yo here is truly an ally of Ronka. Why, as the V's tell it, her coming was foretold by the last emperor himself. The descendants of Ronka and their allies reunited across the years? Oh, joyous day. This meeting must truly be a gift from the Great Serpent. I can vouch for Yo here. She is the very woman who drove the Light Warden from these lands. As for the descendant of the great sage, what's his name? I'd suggest you let at least half his ramblings go in one ear and out the other. Could it truly be? But yes, our hero stands before us. We watched your battle in the rabble from the shadows. The moment you struck down that beast of light, we knew that a new age was nigh. Oh, never have I seen such gallantry and valor. I saw the battle too. Never have I seen such gallantry and valor. At any rate, my good sirs and madame, I am keen to begin excavation, but I fear it won't be so simple. The warding seal here bars our entrance, and we will have to find a way to break it if we hope to proceed. If what I have gleaned from my research is correct, this will require an object of immense arcane power, a relic that will speak to the seal and convey that the qitari have returned to claim what is ours. An object imbued with the mystical energies of the forest itself. Yes, an object with the glow of the great wood, as you say, Father. I shall find it for you. Your enthusiasm is admirable, Chakurul, but let us not get ahead of ourselves. This is a perilous place, and I have no intention of seeing you get snatched up by some terrible beast. And so I turned to the hero of the rabble and the son of Dwattel. My good sirs and madame, might you know someone who could aid us in our search? You can trust me, I'm a miner. Oh, lucky day. Clearly you are not merely a hero on the battlefield, but a woman of many talents indeed. We would be ever so indebted to you if we could impose upon you just once. Yes, we would be most indebted, my good sir. Or what is it, madame? Father, I can never tell which is which. Enough prating, Charcoal. We must find a way to open this portal at once, that we might summon our fellow stewards here and begin searching for this Stella in earnest. Oh, Ale Avranca, Qitari Natal of the Qitari bows down and beseeches you. Will you lend us your aid and help with my people reclaim our long-lost legacy? I promise you the debt will not go unpaid. I realize I ask much of you, and as soon as we met, needless to say, pray take as much time as you require to consider our offer. Should you be inclined to offer your strength and wisdom to us, just say the word. I am happy to greet you again, my good madame. What say you? Have you given any thoughts to my entreaty? That's a big-ass door. Powerfully spoken, Yellow. Truly, this shall mark a new dawn in the annals of Franken history. As the great sage is my witness, I say let the qitari rise to glory anew. We are truly in your debt, Alaya Branca. I entrust the vital task of finding an object with the glow of great worth to you, as to where to begin your search. Leave that to me, my long-snouted friend. Did you mayhap notice that the serpent your dear qitari brought along has a rather distinctive pattern of scales on its exquisite body? I have reason to believe that this pattern will indeed lead us to that which we seek. Hark unto the serpent's cry, and know that the points of light that glow amidst his strength represent those precise spots where the aether flows through the great wood is most densely concentrated. Behold, here in the northwestern reaches of the blind forest of Yekmaja, conveniently marked by this slimy little scar, we can see that what is doubtless a convergence of sorts. If anywhere it is there, we will find a specimen of sufficient power to breach the seal. Oh, the son of Dwattel says it's so, then surely it would behoove us to pay heed. When you return with the relic, pray let Chuck see it once. I would have my boy gain first-hand knowledge of the wisdom of his forefathers. Well, it's nice that they mark the map now. That's new. Yay, Shadowbringers. You have returned, and what's this? Do I see something glowing on your person? Why, it's beautiful. Oh, thank you, sir, madame. Or was it madame, sir? Now father says I simply need to point it at the door and... My word, it opens. Oh, splendorous, splendiferous. Splendorous indeed. Look, father, the seal is broken. It has charcoal. It has charcoal. It has. And with this, after 100 years, we stand on the verge of reclaiming our legacy. But our task has only begun. There will be digging. Yes, much digging. And delving. We must relay this triumphant tidings to our tribesmen and summon them here to assist in the excavation. Yes, from this day, the stewards will not rest until a new page in the annals of qitari history has been writ. Do not worry, father. I will work as hard as any steward to reclaim our legacy. Oh, sir, madame, yo, you will help us in our quest, yes? Sealed tight for a century, the door of the ancient cave now lies open, and the qitari excavation effort can begin in earnest. Good, yo. You must meet my mother. Mother will be running the camp and seeing that everything is in order. Isn't that right, Mother? Yes? My son speaks true. Reclaiming our history is about more than grand discoveries of ancient artifacts. There is much that must be done to ensure we can go about our daily lives in this place, and so I would call upon you for aid from time to time, if you would not be disinclined to help us. Will the steward's excavation efforts succeed? Will the lost Solari of the qitari return to the light that young charcoal might one day know the wisdom of his ancestors, or are ancient secrets destined to stay shrouded in darkness? Only the gods know. Okay. What am I at? 36 minutes? Five, 10. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit before I can continue the video, but I'll see you in a second. Alright, I got my first society quest, let's go. Good sir, it was good sir, wasn't it? Mother tells me you've been working your tail off around Stopple. Is that why I can't see your tail, perhaps? Anyhow, thanks to you, Father says that we're ready to begin the excavation. Isn't this so exciting? Jacker, we must remember to remain calm and composed. These caves are vast, their tunnels burrowing deep into the bowels of the land. Slow, steady, and circumspect is the order of the day. As we speak, a preliminary exploration team is surveying the tunnels to determine where we might best begin the excavation. We will await their findings before deciding on the best way to move forward. Understood, Father. I promise to be circumspect. Does that mean we can begin digging already? Tawari, Mono, what news from the depths? Digmaster Quitaro, I fear we encountered something rather unexpected. Excuse me. I fear that we may not be able to commence the excavation as quickly as we had hoped. We can't start digging, but why? What did you find down there? No sooner had we stepped through the entrance, our whiskers twitching in anticipation of the wonders that awaited, then did we see them nasty creatures swarming in every nook and cranny of the caves. A most troubling development indeed. We qitari are scribes, not warriors. Indeed, it was the presence of fearsome fiends and worse, blocking our way through the rabble that kept us trapped for 100 years. Are we doomed to suffer a similar fate here? Can do more than just gather things. The ally of Ronka and bringer of night would fell these terrible beasts for us. I would like little more than to take advantage of your kindness, but I fear there is a rub. A rub? A rub. In our preliminary explorations of the stopple, we had discovered that another ward seals off the tunnels below. A ward not unlike the one that barred the entrance, but with one notable and unfortunate difference. It is a weird impassable to all but the servants of Daelon, namely the qitari. No, I fear we will have to find our own way to dispatch the beasts that have burrowed their way up from the depths. But without Sir Madame Yo's aid, we'll be chewed up with the moment we step in there. Tails and whiskers all. The great serpent, it speaks. Indeed, and yet it does not move. Till now we have had only to follow where it goes. This time, it appears we must fully grasp the import of his message. A message which, sadly, is beyond my comprehension. If only there was someone who... But of course, the son of what? The son of... You mean that tall fellow who likes to wave his arms in the air when he talks? The very same. Yo, it appears we will require your assistance once more. Might you be so kind as to see my boy safely to Slitherborough, that he might summon this Quinfort for us? Would you kindly, yo? Father and I would appreciate it ever so muchly and more. Now come along, great serpent. What's this you say? They'll be proud the tunnels at every turn. No doubt they are remnants of the shadows, that wandered the forest come to life. Demons come to suck dry the currents of ether that give the great word life, reducing our home to a withered husk. They could be that, or they could simply be nasty little brutes that crawled their way up from between the rocks. You know, like the ones around here. Valen, my sir man. Damn. You know of these creatures too? I do. Mother tells me that when our ancestors first came to Slitherborough, they were set upon by a swarm of ravenous creatures that crawled up from below. Fortunately, one of the elder priests managed to utter an incantation that drove them away. If you look closely at the walls around us, you can see glyphs carved in them. The same protective magic that saved our forefathers then has been worked into the very walls around us. In a sense, the settlement of Slitherborough itself serves as a ward against the dangers that lurk beneath us. Just so, Valen, and it is precisely words and incantations of this sort that I have made the focus of my studies of late. I remain ever impressed with your knowledge, my good sir, madams. Might it be too much to ask if you could teach us this incantation to the great serpent, that he might protect us in our expedition below? What? What blasphemy do you speak, child? Do you think me, a humble servant of the word, so brazen as to believe he could enlighten the divine protector itself? This isn't exactly my area of expertise, but it strikes me that there might be a simpler way to approach this. Why don't we simply fashion a talisman or two for them, you know, like the ones we've always used to keep danger at bay? I can craft a simple object to serve as the vessel. Then Quinfort can utter a few words and enchant it as he sees fit. Tradition dictates that the talisman be fashioned from materials indelibly connected to the bearer's own. Those of us who live in Slitherborough usually gather what we need from the Citadel swamps, but for our qitari friends we'll have to look further east. Yo, your knowledge of rocks and stones just might serve us well here. Why don't you head over to Murals and see if you can't find us a serpent's eye? It's a rare gem that we often carry about to ward off danger. And I shall immediately begin weaving an incantation especially tailored to protect our good friends from the sort of terrifying creatures that infest the caves and tunnels they seek to explore. A foolproof plan if ever there was one. Chakro, you can stay here with me in Slitherborough and help me collect the other materials I need. It'll be the perfect opportunity to introduce you to my fellow blessed. Once we have everything we need, let's meet up again at Hopple's Stopple. I want to test the effectiveness of the talisman for myself before we leave Sharkwall and his friends on their own. Oh, there you are. We were able to find something suitable for making our talisman. Why yes, this should serve us quite well. Just give me a moment or two. I'll round up some material charcoal I gathered from the village and whip up something in no time. Just add a feather here, here, and here, then thread through this length of rope, and yes, this should do it. It's beautiful, and this will let us begin the excavation in safety, you say? Not so fast. The talisman needs to be enchanted before it's of any use. As it is now, it is little more than a fancy little ornament. Well, Quinfort, this is the moment you've been waiting for, isn't it? Say no more. Stand back and bear witness as Quinfort descended up Waddle weaves an incantation the likes of which your eyes have never seen. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Worry not, dear Valan. In truth, at first I was uncertain which of the many prayers I have memorized would serve us best. A traditional chant of the Night Bless? But wait, the qitari are an ancient race, so perhaps this calls for an incantation from ancient Ronka. Long did I ponder, choose poorly after all, and it could mean death and destruction for our friends. If not the forest itself, fortunately. It was then that the great serpent came to me in a vision, enlightening me as to the precise words that will deliver us to salvations. Words which have long been writ in the Gospels of Kinfort. You're going to enchant this talisman with the ramblings from your dream diary? Now I really have a bad feeling about this. Do not be silly, Valan. The great serpent speaks through me, and I am but a vessel for his divine wisdom. Hark, it is precisely as it says in chapter 52, verse 5. The goddess claws stained cerulean. She did await the arrival of those stewards. The coming of darkness marked a new dawn. A proud people returned to the wood where the egg once fell from high above. O great serpent of Ranka, gifted to us by the heavens, hear the plea of the great sages, Sion, and guide the children of Ranka safely to their ancestral home. O great serpent, do tell me, were my prayers heard? Why, I've never heard an incantation so inspiring. Your powers truly are something else, Master Quinfort. Oh, you are wise beyond your years, my young qitari friend. My knowledge is vast, my power is indeed prodigious, and it is more than an honor to wield them in service of your esteemed people. Though he's prone to bouts of madness from time to time, Quinfort is an accomplished priest. The talisman should serve you well. Splendid. Our excavation effort has already been delayed for far longer than we can afford. Well, Charcoal, this is the moment of truth. There is no telling what dangers lurk beneath us. Are you quite certain you wish to accompany me to the tunnels below? But of course, Father. Why else would I have come to this place with you? Together, we can unearth the secrets of our forefathers and reclaim our history. Very well. It is clear you do not take the task lightly. Perhaps you are coming of age after all, and with that, I believe it is time we started digging. Let the excavation begin. Okay. Sometime later. Qitarinari and Charco Kroto have safely returned from their preliminary investigation of the tunnels. Well, Chaco, were you able to find the tablets you were searching for? Yet more manifestation of the Great Serpent. Whatever have we done to deserve such a blessing? Well now, what have we here? What is this? Another incarnation of the great serpent made manifest before us. Whatever could be the meaning of this, I must know at once. Ah, if you could settle down for just a moment, Master Quinfort, I will explain in detail all I witnessed down below. Father and I found a stone. It was big and square and covered with all sorts of writings, just like in the legends. As my boy says, we did indeed find the stele, or at least one piece of them. What remains? According to qitari legend, the stele comprised the stele? Four perfectly square stones stacked to form a massive pillar, which is to say, what we have found is but one part of the larger whole. And if that were not unfortunate enough, even the single stela we found has been badly weathered through the years. In many places, the engravings are all but indecipherable. That is not all we found. Lying beside the shattered stone were several sad piles of bones. No doubt the remains of our once proud forefathers who carried the stele down below. I shudder to think of their last moments torn apart by sin-eaters as they hid away our legacy for safekeeping. Father and I thought to carry the stone to the surface, but in that moment something jumped out and stood in our path. Are mine eyes to be believed? The beheaded serpent that first accompanied our quarrel friends remains on the surface, which means we are graced by yet another incarnation of the divine protector. A third manifestation of the great serpent? Just how many of them are there anyway? At the very least, this is the only one we encountered on our expedition, and yet, if it traveled here from somewhere to guide us in our efforts, it would not be unreasonable to assume that there are others where this one came from. In truth, it appeared and spoke to us just as we stood before the shattered stone. I cannot help but believe it was conveying to us a message, just as its brethren guided us to these ancient tunnels. Quirrell and I pondered the matter, and we believe that we understand. The great serpent bids us to unearth what remains of the scattered and weathered stelae, and piece together our people's history anew with our own hands and minds. I see. If the stones truly have been scattered and weathered by time, that's the best you could hope to do. Yet surely you must have been able to make out something from what remained of the stone. What chronicle of Eld were writ there. What we were able to make of the markings could be described thus. A mighty Ronso wearing a crown, no doubt meant to represent the first emperor of Ronca, stood tall with the blade raised over his head. Before him cowered a qitari, one of our forefathers, no doubt. The carving would seem to depict the momentous occasion that was the first encounter between our people and the Empire, and the implications could not be more clear. Doubtless our ancestors, ill-suited for battle, were conquered and subjugated by the might of the Ronca, under whose yoke they would find new purpose as the stewards of history. A most fascinating interpretation, Father. But if I were to be so bold, I saw the drawing quite differently. I do not believe the Ronca Emperor would be so cruel as to threaten the poor, weak qitari. No, I believe that he found us vulnerable and at the mercy of the fearsome beasts of the forest. He slew the beast by his own hand and befriended our ancestors, giving us purpose as his subjects. Your optimism is admirable, my boy, but I fear that such a bright and cheery interpretation of events is unlikely at best. History is full of harsh truths from which we must not avert our eyes. But tales are still sung of the first emperor's might and majesty to this day, are they not? I simply cannot fathom that he would be so cruel as to enslave our people. If you ask me, both theories seem reasonable, but if you intend to keep a record of history to pass down to posterity, you're going to have to choose one. Two conflicting theories of the past, one to be etched in stone and sung until the end of time, and the other destined to be consigned to the dust of the deep, dark caverns below. Truly, this is a turning point in the grand tapestry that is the history of the qitari. Yes, at any rate, I believe we've done all we can here. Valon, I say Valon, have you no interest in witnessing the momentous occasion in history? I would not think of insisting that my interpretation is the only valid one, and yet I cannot simply toss it aside in favor of my son's rose-colored view of the past. How positively absolutely vexing. The great serpent, it speaks again. It does, and this time the message cannot be more clear. It believes that Yo, the ally of Ronka, should be the one to weigh the options at hand and decide which version of history shall be inscribed upon the stone. The qitari father and son are writing. Huh. I was not expecting a choice. It's better for the future if we go with the younger's interpretation, I think. Yeah. Father may have his reasons for thinking as he does, but I choose to believe in the brighter version of history. Yes, I am quite certain that the Ronkan Emperor was a benevolent man who protected our ancestors from fearsome beasts and bestowed upon them a position of honor in the society. Surely you can agree. Weathered as they are, the meaning behind the engraving on the first stela are quite clear. The first Ronkan Empire subjugated our ancestors by force and conscripted them into service. There can be no doubting this. Surely you agree my theory is far more logical than my fairy tale proposed by my son, yes? Damn. I agree with both. This is truly like a decision. Can I do dailies still? Yes. I don't have to make this decision now, but I'm not gonna look it up. I feel like I'd rather see the place built with the idea of peace. So I'm gonna go with this one. Oh, thank you. I'm most glad to know that you are a cup half full type like myself. I cannot help but feel my boy is too optimistic for his own good. And yet, if you would choose to believe his theory, good madame, there is no reason why I cannot do the same. At long last, I can look upon the history of my people in all its glory. Our work is far from over. Pray continue to lend us your aid. Father and I will send for our finest artisans. The work must begin at once. Well, that was hard. The first stela has been restored, its engravings now clearly reflecting Charcoal Kurtul's theory of Ronkan benevolence. Protected by the talisman fashioned for them by the knights blessed and heartened by rediscovering a piece of their heritage. The stewards now pursue the excavation efforts with newfound zeal. Should you choose, continue to aid them in their cause. Oh wow, it's coming together. Okay. That's gonna be the end of the video. Oh, nearly got my mic. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you in the next thing, whatever that might be. Peace.